Welcome to Burn the Ship. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We talk with people that have walked the walk, talk the talk, been through all the things that we experience as business owners, and have joined us to share some of those skills and experiences so that we can apply them to our own journeys. Thank you very much, first of all, for your time, your energy talking to me on the phone before this. It's very, very kind of you to share some time with me and with the audience. So thank you very much, first of all. Can you tell us who you are and a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. And you got it. I appreciate that you found me and brought me on to speak to your audience. Hopefully, I'll be able to add a little value. I'm Shireen. I'm the founder and CEO of Maior. Maior is a boutique consulting firm, and we help service firms, so mostly law firms, accounting firms, etc., grow their revenue, increase profitability, and stand out in a crowded market. And I built my firm after practicing law myself and then holding leadership roles in national firms. And I'm super passionate about helping firms move from big ideas to grounded plans.
Yes. And the reason that we connected with one another, and I think maybe you guys in the audience have heard me say this a time or two, but if you haven't, I got an opportunity on the credit card processing level with a law firm that like I didn't know they made law firms like this, like super busy, bunch of people, bunch of billing, bunch of hours, bunch of lawyers. I didn't even know things work that way. Like my experience with the law world is like five people in an office that are all really, really good at what they do. Um, and this is like what you see on TV. And I realize my expectation meeting with the people that run that law firm is like, okay, well, lawyers must be good business people, or you must be good business people individually to build something like this. And admittedly, the people that I was speaking to in Atlanta were like, yeah, we're not good business people. We set something up when we have a problem and we throw our mind at it and we try to fix it, and if it doesn't work we try it again. But self-admittedly, we're not just business savants. We don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about processes and procedures and efficiency and things like that. Like, we get work, we do the work gets done, and that's just the way that it is, which piqued my curiosity how you can do like there's businesses doing 10, 15, 20 million dollars a year in revenue that really don't have a background in learned business acumen. They have
Oh, yeah.
aggregated
And even bigger than
experiences.
that.
Yeah, for sure. And they've aggregated experiences and applied them to what they do on a day-to-day basis. So if you're one of those people, I couldn't applaud you more. I relate. So tell me a little bit about that, right? Tell me why it is that people in this industry don't learn some of the business things and some of the things that you guys do to help introduce some business to their day-to-day habits.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're talking in general about for the most part, people who are accidental business owners. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, what I mean by that is most folks that go to law school or a CPA that goes and gets an accounting degree, or even like a wealth management advisor, you're taught your craft. You are not taught how to pitch the work, win the work, price the work, cross sell the work, collect for the work. Um, how do I keep client service tight? How do I go and use a referral network? None of these things are sort of taught to you. And there's also a lot of, I would say, pretty bad process out there that's learned behavior. And so it's a lot of, I think, not putting yourself in the client's shoes. And I'll give you a very real example. So I came into a firm recently that had a ferocious accounts receivable balance. So, you know, millions sitting in uncollected income to the firm. Um, and they had hired me for collections. And I said, well, okay, let me look under the hood and see what's really happening here. And when I did, I had to go back and say, I can help you with collections, but with all due respect, we have to turn the faucet off.
Mm-hmm.
You have a client service problem. You're not scoping the work and talking about budget at the front of the engagement. You bill by the hour, and I've looked at your time entry and the month end statements that go to your clients. They don't show a story of progress and value. I wouldn't pay that bill.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you suffer from the number one thing that clients complain about their lawyers, which is poor communication.
Right.
And so, if you think about the setup, we didn't talk about budget and scope. There were a bunch of timekeepers that you get on a bill, and I don't understand what was done. And I kind of dropped the ball on communicating with you all month. Yeah, your bill's not going to get paid.
Right.
Um, so, yes, I can help you with collections, but the problem comes at the beginning of the relationship. And so I think that that is a really good example of just how firms are not designed around the clients, but are designed more around their craft,
Sure.
right? And
Sure.
so you have to actually go sell this service and get the money back for it, and attract people to your firm, right?
Yes.
So a lot of what I do is helping firms from we've outgrown our infrastructure, what do we do next, and how do we sort of get process back in, but without feeling like we're some huge firm
Sure.
and we're anonymous and look, we left those big places, we don't want to become like them. um all the way to how do we stand out in a sea of sameness where everybody sounds very similar when they talk about their services, has the same background, same accolades on the website. What can we be doing different, all the way down to culture, and what do we do to attract and retain the best, especially where we're sometimes competing with big law or enterprise accounting or some of the really big players out there. So we're aware we cannot compete on salary alone. Um, but the truth is, it doesn't mean you have to settle for a B player or a C player,
Right.
right? So how do we do that? So I love what I do. I really I dive in and I help with what's really going on and how do we build around the people who are here and have to actually execute. And I think very much about all stakeholders, and that includes the clients, of
Sure.
course, the most important stakeholder.
Yes, absolutely. Can I ask you to tell me a story? I know that you practice law before doing what you do right now. Would you describe yourself in that industry the same way? And how did you develop these skills that you're helping implement for other people that are in that same situation?
You know, it's a good question because I wasn't taught any of this either. And for some reason, I just naturally gravitated
Oh,
to it.
wow.
So I practiced in antitrust litigation, the super fun stuff, in big law. So I was in Am Law 50 firms practicing litigation at a pretty high level. But for me, what's interesting is it's not like TV, and especially
Mhm.
in big law, it's a lot of phone calls and meet and confers and discovery negotiation. It's not a lot of actual court time, and things drag. So, and I happen to be a very fast-paced person, and
Sure.
so the things that made me most excited were some of the operational aspects. And so I kind of had to hit a point where I said, if that's what I really love to do, I think I need to go somewhere and go do it.
Right.
So I first left and went to BDO and helped them to build their consulting division and sort of build the infrastructure at the same time. Then KPMG saw what I was doing and said, we actually want to pivot our consulting practice and need some help. Can you come over here? We actually have a very mature 5,000 person division, um, but have some issues. And then I had the opportunity to go be the COO of a national law firm. But I think part of it is just being really open to testing ideas. And in fact, I think I've sort of benefited from not having a cookie cutter um, business degree. So, for example, I don't have an MBA,
Right.
but the good news is that means when I walk into an organization, I don't come with an assumed set of principles. I don't have like 5 frameworks that I know work. I'm not looking at page 84 of the Harvard manual. I actually talk to the people, see what works, and build new process. And at the same time, say, we can change this. So let's keep this iterative and keep moving. And so going back, for example, to that accounts receivable example, one of the things I did, I first asked management, okay, well, have you talked to the accounting department? What are they saying about people not paying your bill? Oh, we haven't asked them. Um, and you'd be surprised how often management doesn't leave the corner office
Right.
and just walk down the hall and talk to your people.
Right.
Ask them what's going on. Your frontline employees have a lot of data on what's going on in your business. And so just that step alone is going pretty far
Right.
for them. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's sort of how I came into it was really more, I think, out of curiosity, um, and knowing there was a better way, and also seeing really smart people suffer,
Right.
like seeing the smartest of the smart in big law, and then big accounting, struggling with things like unpaid bills or like working really long hours, and not having the right leverage model, struggling with pricing and fee structures and getting pushback from clients. It's a pleasure to help them so they can get back to doing what they love to do.
Yeah, I had a client of mine related to creativity one time, and it made a ton of sense to me. It was like when an artist sees a blank brick wall, they see a mural in the future. And when I walk past a brick wall, I look at the sidewalk. Like I don't even have the eye to look at where something could be. I've
Yeah.
just never learned that language and put that into my brain to look for opportunities to improve something that I see every single day. So I think that an important distinction is that the word skills may not be the most applicable word sometimes. I think a more applicable word from time to time is just the vision. Like there is a
Mm.
learned behavior to be able to see things that can change and improve. And when you're tasked with those things, or you task yourself with those things, you teach yourself this language of being able to audit systems and processes in your mind as you're going through those experiences. I do it every time I like buy something online. You know what I mean? Because I've been in my industry for so long. I like am so critical of how easy or not easy it is for me to pay you. That's learned
Oh
behavior.
my
I
gosh,
didn't
Bill,
know.
you're like speaking my language. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I was staying in a hotel a few weeks ago, and hotels are not my industry, but I can't help myself. As I was checking out, the manager asked me how my stay was, and I had a few thoughts for her on things that the hotel could be doing different that were pretty bad in my opinion during my stay. And she kind of looked at me and was like, "Okay, but I don't think we can fix that for you because you're not." And I was like, "No, no, you're not getting it. Like
Yeah,
this,
it's not
I'm
for
never,
me. Yeah.
and I'm never coming back here, by the way. Like you will never
Right,
see my
right.
face in this lobby again. Um, I'm just telling you because, like, I don't know,
It
human to
feels like the
human,
right thing to consult with you.
right? Like you asked me, and I can't help but tell you that this was like a pretty poor experience, and I think there's some really easy things you could do that aren't going to cost you any money. Um, that you could do to fix it right now. Even though you may not be able to fix the whole problem, there's things you could be doing that impact the client experience today.
Yes, for sure.
Um, and she just kind of gave me a blank stare, but
Well, that's what I
like
find a lot too. I think the reason that you get that blank stare is that those people aren't financially motivated,
they're not
or
empowered.
they're not there. It's not their job. You
I
know, their
know,
job
I
is
know.
getting people in and out, and I find that too. It's like, hey, Mr. Accounting person, hey, Mr. Bookkeeper, hey, XY controller at a company, like your owner of your business wants to change your back end payment systems for XYZ, right? Like maybe they're saving money, maybe they want to save some time, and this person's like, I don't like, I'm going to do it because it is my job, but I am not at all inclined to learn and implement this new system. So, trying to find a way to bring value to those people, I think, is equally, if not more important, because really,
Oh,
really
totally.
in tune business owners are going to go to the people pressing the buttons and they're going to say, hey, are you going to quit if we make this change? Like, I can't lose you. I would be
Yeah.
down to entertain this other conversation, but your well being in this workplace is the most important thing to me because you matter to my organization. Building a relationship with those people who are going to be the one calling my office and asking questions or calling me to figure things out or asking for changes as things grow. Like, having the relationship with those people is so easy because would you rather it's so important and not necessarily easy, but it's important. And the reason is because when people want a problem solved, they want to call you to solve the problem, not go search Google out there in the world for other pieces of technology that can solve those problems for you. That in itself is a daunting task, but people are pretty good at marketing. Like, you find some of these tools that live out there in the world, and it seems like the easiest, most straightforward thing that's going to solve a problem for your business, easy to implement, no worries. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not for a lot of things, but how many people, what percentage of people would prefer to have a human to human consultative conversation about how they can make their life easier rather than consulting with the internet on things that may or may not work for those people? And I think a lot of people miss the ball or drop the ball and miss a lot of value in having those relationships with those people that may not be C-level financially motivated by the things that you're doing in their business, even though there is a lot of value in improving their day-to-day systems and processes. I think that I've always done a really good job of trying to consult with people a tier down, a tier two tiers down. Like you said, like the example that you gave of the top of the food chain not speaking to their accounting department is a thing that is so common. Like, I get business owners that sign up with me and they've never told their person that does their billing that we're about to make a change. And I'm like, all right, now I've got to come in there and level set with these people because this is going to be a process. It's not it's not a train track. I can't switch it from one to the other and there be no qualms. I mean, there are things that happen. There are things that we have to go through. There's process and
Yeah,
systems we
you
have
have
to
to
put in
build buy-in,
place.
make
Right.
people feel comfortable.
It's a difficult thing to do as well.
Yeah, and I think you touched on something, which is give people skin in the game.
Right.
So whether it's, I'll use that hotel example just because it's super easy, maybe it's looking at how your hotel rates for cleanliness on, I don't know, TripAdvisor or wherever you find that type of review. And for every month that your team is getting like a 4.5 or higher, throw them like a little bonus or
Yeah.
give them something. Or one that I did in a law firm that wasn't even going into the assistant's pockets, but it just made them feel empowered. To
Mm-hmm.
the point earlier, it was, we gave assistants a little bit of a budget. We called it the client delight budget. And so every quarter they had a little bit of money that they were allowed to spend without permission, without approval, on clients to help them with something little. And so what I mean is maybe they had a client that rescheduled a meeting with their partner um twice in a row, and they said, I'm so sorry, I'm just really slammed. Great, send them over a Starbucks gift card and be like, it sounds like you've been having a really bad month. We just thought you might be able to use a cup of coffee. Or perhaps you're on the phone with somebody and it's, oh, we can't do that week. It's our anniversary and we're going to Paris. Great, send over a modest bottle of wine and say, I know it's your anniversary and we just wanted something ready for you to celebrate again when you get back home. They felt like these were their clients.
Right. Right.
It's just it shifted how they felt about being an assistant and the ownership over the relationship, that it's not just the partner's relationship. These are my relationships. Um,
Yes.
this is my network of people. It's it's empowering.
Yeah, it definitely is. It makes, and it's very human. It's very, very human at the core of people want to believe that they have some purpose in the thing that they spend so much time and energy and effort on. Just
100%.
give it to
Yeah.
them. Just give it to them. That's all
Yeah.
it is. I find so many people with like goals on the biggest whiteboard of their office and the progress of those goals every day and their year long goals, and we're not reviewing the goals. Like it's amazing what you can accomplish with just one tier, two tiers down of connecting with people on a human level. That's why our organization is 17 people. Like we
Yeah.
have a very, very tight relationship with the people here, and the way that we geared our business was to be able to scale up without adding a bunch of people. Like this will be the first year that I have more customer service people than salespeople, right? Which is a direct reflection of the amount of clients that we onboard on a weekly, monthly, daily basis.
Right, right.
And because we figured out a way to align ourselves with pieces of technology that give us merchants in bunches. Like we knew that feet on the street wasn't scalable for us forever. I never wanted to be the hire 40 sales reps and throw them all at the wall and see who sticks. That's just not my game. But building a relationship with people and teaching those people how to build a relationship with people is something I've always found super gratifying. So I reposition that question to you is what's been difficult? Having that eye for processes and systems is so important in every single industry and business. And I find that some people suffer from this, analysis paralysis or the overcomplication, the inability to make this seem simple to people. It doesn't seem like those things are you. So, what have been the learning curves for you as you've learned how to navigate these conversations with people in large organizations?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, my problem is not analysis paralysis. If
Yeah,
anything, I
I'm fast
I
paced like
sometimes
you. That's why I
yeah,
can
I
relate.
sometimes move a little too quick and then I'm like, oops,
Mm-hmm.
gotta revise that. But I prefer that because you don't get time back. And I think that's one of the most thrown away resources we have
For
when it
sure.
comes, especially the bigger an organization. I guess what I've struggled with, so I guess one would be social media. And so I'm active on LinkedIn for my business. It's where my peers and client base, interact socially for the most part. But it took me a long time, and it's something I still am not good at, admittedly, to kind of loosen like the corporate mask. I
Right.
mean, I had just been in very risk averse, compliance driven industries for so long. I mean, law and accounting,
Yeah.
like say less, right?
Long
And
enough to just not
also
post on social media at all for the most part.
no, and anything you do has a disclaimer and it needs to go through 18 levels of
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah.
And you better be speaking in like the corporate we. And so changing that and actually being comfortable with speaking as Shireen,
Yeah.
right? Like
Being
people
genuine and
actually,
authentic.
right, people want to hear from me. People want to hire me. People aren't expecting McKinsey,
Right.
right? Otherwise they'd go to McKinsey or whoever. But that I think was something I struggled with. I think the other one, and this one's hard for me to even say out loud because I help my clients do it, but man, it's hard to take your own medicine.
Yeah, it is.
It really is the scaling and hiring. And so I made some mishires in the beginning. I tried some things, but I had to try,
Yeah,
right?
of
I tried
course.
things out. I tried some part-time hires with different skills. Ultimately what I learned is what I already knew in my heart, which is you're never going to build a great business cheaping out
Mm-hmm.
on people. You just won't. You
Mm-hmm.
can't.
I think an
Um,
MBA won't even teach you that, to be
yeah.
completely honest with you. There's no class on that in business school. You have to cut checks that end up under delivering to be able to identify those things moving forward. And the number, like maybe the favorite thing about the owner of my company is that they were willing to let me buy things, pay for things, go to things, try to develop business that they knew deep down were not going to work, because it saved them a lot of money in the long run, training me like an entrepreneur to be good at my job.
Yeah, yeah. Like go A/B test it
Yeah,
and
for
figure
sure.
that
Give it
out,
a try.
right?
Buy it. You want to join this thing? Join the thing. You want to go to this conference? Go to the conference. Tell
Right,
us, did it
right.
work? Did it not? We're okay with being wrong too as an organization. Like maybe it did work. Maybe this is something we need to do more. But they were the same exact way of.
But I struggle with it still. And like the thing that's the hardest is just, I mean, of course you want your fingerprint on every single thing that goes out the door.
Mhm.
It's my business, right? But I just think too, there's that quote. Somebody once, I guess, asked President Roosevelt, what's the hardest part about being president? And he said, signing a bad letter.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, I get it. And my people are great. Like they're the best. And by the way, if you work for me and you can put up with me, you're beyond the best, right? Like you have a patience level that I do not possess.
Mhm.
You are you have grace. You are very adaptable. My people are great. I have super high standards, so they have to be, but um yeah, it's difficult sometimes because
Yes.
I'm like on the go. I'm doing a million things. I'm talking to clients. I'm trying to manage them. But at the same time, I don't like micromanaging, and I'm a big believer, like give people context, don't put down controls,
Mhm.
right? So there's certain things that have to be zero defect, and we know those things, but and so whether that's in your business, everybody has to do the sexual harassment training, or in a
Mhm.
legal business, a court deadline's a court deadline, right?
Right.
Like that's not negotiable. There's no flexibility. If it's due on Monday, it's due on Monday. But almost everything else, give people the framework in which to make better decisions and then let them do it.
Yes.
And that's something that's hard. It's again, take your own medicine. It's
Yeah.
been harder for me to do than to tell others to do.
Yes. Well, I mean, I always heard empower people and be amazed, right? So if you give people the why we're doing something and how we're doing it, and they'll come back to you and challenge you on the how you do it, those are good people.
Yeah.
And that has always been me, with full knowledge that I couldn't work for myself. I put so many imaginary holes in my own ship that I don't need anyone helping. You know what I mean? I'm so process oriented. How do I maximize the amount of time that I have in a day? How can I make the most out of the time that my clients are willing to give me, from a sales perspective, from a development
Yeah.
perspective, from a service perspective? Like all of those things, being hypercritical of those processes has kind of brought me to where I am today. I know that in a C-level position, I would be the exact same way and hold my people to a high standard. But if I had my own little angel me and devil me on my own shoulders telling me the good things and the bad things, I would go insane. Like I have to be able to put my hands on some of this stuff and it not work, to literally take my own advice. Like that, sometimes that experience is necessary for me to go, not only were you wrong, and you have to look at yourself and tell the truth about it. You knew what was going to happen, and your assumptions were right, and you made a different decision based off of whatever, emotions, wherever you were in your life. The fact
Yeah.
that you didn't want to deal with it at that moment, like you have to deal with the repercussions of those things, um,
Yes.
and it
And it's
makes you
hard to
better.
like drop your shoulders down a
A
notch, at
hundred
least for
percent.
me. And I'm starting to find, so if I go back to the roles I had in corporate in those C-level positions, and I think about what my prior sort of like CEO or managing partner bosses said to me, like I'll always remember I have one that said, Shireen, you get more done than anyone else and have more ideas than anyone else, but it is awfully hard to get put through your wood chipper on a daily basis. And when I first built my business, it was like I could fly as fast as I wanted.
Sure.
I was turbo. But now that I have people working for me, I have to take a step back and remember like, Shreen, you can't put everybody through your wood chipper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. The
And I'll
wood
never
chipper
forget
analogy is
that he
so
said
good.
that.
Yeah, the wood chipper analogy is so good because that's what it
My
is.
God.
Like, there's a time and a place and a value for chewing something up and spitting it back out in a new shape, right?
Totally.
And there's a time for not. You know what I mean? Like, depending on what people
And
have
just
going on and depending
sometimes
on where you
relax,
are. Yeah,
right? Like
right.
everything is not the hill you're going to die on in this
Sure.
business. But it feels like that in the moment. Like
It really
I'll see
does.
one mistake and I'm like, this is the start
Yeah,
of like the downside of the quality in this bit. And then it's like, no, it's not. It's a mistake and we all make mistakes and it's okay.
absolutely. And your industry changes, right? Like, that, I think that that is when you've been in something 10, 15, 20, 25 years, it's really difficult to reflect on like year 3 versus year 20. It's hard to be like, this is where I am. This is what I'm good at now. This is where I was. This is where I was bad at this point, and how far I've come, because you always kind of slide this bar away from yourself of where you want to be. You're always like, I'm almost good at this. I'm almost good at this. I've almost got this process worked out. And you're so far removed from where you were at the original issues that you were trying to resolve that you can't even give yourself enough credit to where you've gone. You know, you can't even give
Yeah.
yourself credit for the growth that you've made, because you're always looking up at the top of the mountain and you're never looking at how far you've climbed.
It's
That's
such
an
a good
issue for
point.
me.
But it's also like the funnest part of building a business, right? Is that you're never done.
Right. It's never
You're
enough.
never done.
Yeah. It's never enough. And why should it be? I actually challenge
Right.
people on that anyway, of like, complacency, maybe complacency comes off as a strong word, because it implies that you should not be happy with where you are, but contentment maybe is a better word,
Mm. Yeah, I like that.
is like the beginning of death in your industry, because your industry is going to surpass where you are at some point. Maybe you die in 100 years, or maybe you die in 100 months, maybe you die in 100 days. But the why would you ever take that hypercritical hat off of yourself, right? You might, and I guess maybe it can affect you mentally and your day-to-day ability to do things, but like, do we not always just want to be better? Would there be a place for me to speak on the internet if there were not other people just trying to improve what they do on a day-to-day basis? I don't think so. I think that will always be a business thing. I think it will always be a human thing. And I have found such I take such pride in the stance that I have taken on trying to be an asset to people that feel those things genuinely. I'm sure that you can relate to that, of just trying to be someone that helps. It feels good, and it's hard to do for
Yeah.
yourself, but
And
man, it's gratifying.
your point on leveling up is interesting because I have a lot of people that, and I'm sure you've had this too, right? And given the podcast, I'm sure you see this a lot. A lot of folks will say, wow, it's really risky to open a business. Or like or like, wow, it took a big leap for you to do something entrepreneurial. I don't know. I think it's way riskier to work for someone else, in my
It's
opinion.
riskier to not, right?
Oh my gosh. And also, like, I know I can outwork like I'm willing to put in more at bats than anyone. So
Yes.
like try to out hustle me.
Mm,
Um it's going to be pretty hard, right? Like
yeah,
I
you're picking the wrong
care
race.
and you do too. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
passionate people, so when you care and if you're willing to actually put in the time and you have the drive, who wouldn't bet on that every single time?
Right. I agree.
It's like a proven winner because even if you lose at something, you're just going to pivot and keep going.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
don't really ever lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the human side of that too is that we're always David, and what we are going up against, or what everyone else is doing adjacent to what we do, is Goliath all the time, right? everyone's doing more, everyone's doing better, everyone's adding the newest stuff. I feel like, I'm a NASCAR pit crew with no manual sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm like, I want to move as quickly as possible, but how do I know what everyone else is going on? Everybody else has got their ducks in a row. I'm selling with my hands tied behind my back. I don't have the best products. I don't. That stuff's
But
not
you know
true.
what? The best news about that, and I say this to my clients all the time, the surest way to end up in the middle is by doing what everybody else is doing.
100%. It's such a good thing to be
Cares.
different.
Right. Like, don't worry. I always say, forget about your competitors and just obsess about your clients.
Right.
They will give you you want the answer to building your 2026 plan. Call your five biggest clients and ask them, where are you growing? What do you need in 2026? Where are you putting investments in your business? Like, there's your path.
Right. Right.
Follow them. Who cares what the people next to you are doing?
Right. Right.
That's the fast path to mediocrity.
100%. And people will lie to you. Like people, it's so human nature for people to be like, yeah, we're doing great. Everything over here is awesome. We're working hard.
Oh, that's
It's
a
cool.
good point. Yeah,
I don't even think it's
I've
intentional.
never met anyone who isn't. That's
Yeah,
the same like you'll never meet a lawyer who isn't busy,
a
by
hundred
the way.
percent. Oh, I'm busy. I've got a lot go. I've got a ton on my calendar. Like, how busy? How busy are you? I'll talk to you at 7 p.m. I'm on the East Coast. I'll have one kid hanging from each belt loop wrestling me, and I'll still get on the phone with you. So like, how busy is busy? It's relative,
Right.
right? Like it's always and I don't think it's ill-willed or deceitful or anything like that. It's
No,
just a
it's not.
natural. It's
No.
just a how you doing. I'm doing fine. You know what I mean? But
Yes, it's
if you
almost
take
like
that to
we've been
heart,
conditioned.
a
Yeah,
hundred
we've
percent.
been conditioned to say
If you
certain
take
things.
that to heart of like, oh, these people are murdering it, here's what they're doing, and I wanna be like them. Like, you don't know what's happening behind those scenes. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You don't know where people are in their personal lives. Like, your
Well,
personal
that
life
too.
affects what you're doing from a business
Yeah.
perspective. Like, how can you try to be where someone is, and you don't even know exactly what that storm looks like? It's a comparison is a thief of joy. And I think that rings even more true in business, because shouldn't this be a joyful project? Shouldn't this be something that you can put your hands on and make it take the shape that you want it to take? And I think that's what's so interesting about you, is that you empower business owners to really make their thing, their unique thing. And their
Thank
problems
you.
may not be unique, but the way that they solve them is different every single time. So back to what you said about not having this cookie cutter, same 5, 6 frameworks, the Harvard Law Manual, page 84. Like, you're a human that solves human problems for human business owners that are probably pretty similar across the board, and the way that every single person wants to skin that cat is probably a little bit different. And that is what I think makes you very unique. And that is where I strive to be as I aggregate more experience in my industry and other industries, and I invest in different things and I invest in different people, is to be able to learn and take those experiences and make myself excellent. And I think that is a path to success. So I'm working my way there. If you are listening, I hope that you can replicate some of that stuff, because I think it is. I don't think it's important. I think it's non-negotiable to get where you want to go, to where your vision was day one, and you want to make that a reality. I think it's literally non-negotiable to be addicted to progress, to be addicted to progress internally, to be addicted to progress from a business perspective, to be addicted to progress in your personal life. I think is something so powerful that you can't bottle it. And so I salute you. I give you major kudos to what it is that you do and solving problems that are intense and difficult. And I look forward to connecting you with some of the people in my own world. Because
Well, thank you,
I'm
Bailey.
the little old payments guy. You know what I mean? We
No,
we
it
solve
means a
things one at a
lot.
time.
I appreciate that. And I would say in terms of everything, having to be bespoke, it's really more the best plan is the one that your team can execute.
Absolutely.
Um, Period. And so it's not about taking something and lifting and shifting it over here or borrowing it. It's more about what's going to work for this team for and work for our business and our clients. And that's not something you can just kind of replicate. There's obviously lessons learned and things I borrow all the time. But it is bespoke, and it sort of has to be if you want it to resonate.
I agree. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well, do me a favor. How do people find you if they want to hire you, if they need some help, if they don't know if they need some help? Where do they go to find you?
Absolutely. I write a lot because I'm a big believer that if you know how to do something pretty well, you have a real obligation to share that with the market, not just with your paying clients. So you can find me in a written column on Law 360 for lawyer clients. My website, Maior Consultants. Maior is spelled Maior. It's Latin. So maiorconsultants.com. Our advice page has a ton of white papers and articles, everything from how do I scale my firm to what do I borrow from the big competitors out there and what's not worth borrowing, and anything in between. And you can also find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And we will link as many of those things as possible in the description
Awesome.
below. So if you're watching this video, scroll down a couple of times, you'll be able to see all of those things. Thank you again for your time and your eye for what it is that you do. I have found people that reflect on your industry very rare. You're few and far between, especially people that are
Yeah.
operating on your scale. So I look forward to being a benefit to you guys. I look forward to making some connections internally. And for you guys that are listening behind the camera, I hope that this is some incentive for you guys to burn the ship. I think that we have tried our best to prove over and over again that the people that we bring on here are normal people. Maybe they have a unique
Speak for
way of
yourself, Bailey.
well, I think that maybe you have a unique way of looking at businesses. I think that maybe you have a unique way of looking at processes. I think maybe you have a unique eye for talent, or maybe you're a marketing savant, or you get people
Right.
in front of clients and they just start buying from you. Everybody has this intangible thing that you bring to your business that people saw value in, and that is the reason that you started your business, or that is the reason that someone hired you. But regardless, there are people around you in your industry, adjacent to your industry, that are willing to help you take that next step up, that are willing to help you look at those processes, and are willing to help you step out of this echo chamber that we all live in at some point in our own business.
Yeah.
So it is it's a difficult thing to do, and I think that with some help we can all take a step up in our business and be better entrepreneurs. So please, if you have anything to leave the people with, I would love for you to give us our last word. But that has been Burn the Ship for me, and we will be back soon.
Awesome. I would just say if there's one thing that's a North Star in your business, it's always easier to meet demand than try to create it. So just think harder about how you meet the market and what your clients really need instead of like the usual, I'm gonna figure out how to sell this thing or make this happen on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Listening to the people that give you or want to give you money is one of the most valuable things that you can do in business. So,
They'll
again,
point you in the right direction if
absolutely.
you're listening. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time again, and for you guys listening. Burn the ship.
Thanks, friends.